Hello and welcome, everyone. This is your guidance and insight for November. I am Tanya Penny, therapist, illness and trauma guide, spiritual alchemist, and author of the Connect with the Divine You book and journals. So, we are in some intense times right now. I will just begin by saying that. I know many of you are feeling that, experiencing that. You're having things personally that are rocking your boat. And then also, we've got quite a bit collectively. So, I'm not doing this on video today as I have been just completed a retreat, hosting a retreat in New Mexico, Ojo Caliente. And I'm in Colorado, and where I am staying, I cannot get good lighting right now. So I've decided to do it on video. But yeah, so where do I want to start? First of all, we are experiencing, when you're listening to this today, I'm recording this October 31st, but if you're listening to this on November 1st, we are having a new moon today in Scorpio. And so we're in the sign of Scorpio through November 21st. And Scorpio is a water sign. And there might be a lot of emotions coming up because of this water sign. And Scorpio really focuses on, what do I desire? And we always want to reflect on, from a soul level, what do I desire versus our ego level. And I have a podcast, Soul versus Ego Desires, if you're interested in knowing more about that. But Scorpio is considered the detective, the sorcerer, the therapist. So just also kind of taking that into consideration. Typically a healer, transformation, and very private, intimate. So as we know, new moons have to do with new beginnings. And so this new beginning, this Scorpio new moon, might feel like more challenging, more intense because it's in the water sign. And it's also has some other astrological things happening, which add to the intensity. I'm not going to get into the details of that, but just know that this could be really intense and really challenging, even though it is what you are to begin this new beginning. And you're going to be really committed. Even though there's this challenge, you're going to feel this deep commitment to making the change that you are being guided to make, to start this new beginning, to make this new change. Again, Scorpio really wants to reflect and really wants time to be alone so that you can receive deeper wisdom, receive new realizations, new guidance. And it's also really about facing our fears. So what are those fears that are lurking? A lot of times we say, oh, it's resistance, but usually underneath resistance is fear. And oftentimes, again, these fears are not even real, but they come from the inner child, right? The unresolved past wounds that we have. And again, it might not even be true now, right? This fear might not even be relevant. So we're being called to look at and face our fears, or discover what are those fears, those hidden fears perhaps, and really listening to our emotions, remembering those are guidance. So really trusting those emotions so that we can begin that new, whatever it is. So again, it's going to correspond to what house in your birth chart, your astrology chart, is Scorpio in. It's probably going to be related to that number house. Okay. Then we have the full moon on November 15th, and this full moon is in Taurus. And it has to do with, and there's also a conjunction with Uranus and Saturn. So the full moon is going to bring a surprise. And, I believe that everything happens for us. Some people might say, oh, a surprise, a disruption, it might feel bad. and for you to remember that from a soul spiritual perspective, every single thing that unfolds is for you. It is what your soul signed up for. So you could have that deeper growth, that deeper evolution, and more of what you desire. So again, we're going to be called to make a change, right? And it might feel uncomfortable. It might be a surprise. And we're going to really want to take time around this full moon again to reflect and to get clarity. Specifically, the question, where have you been giving your energy or your power away, both in the past and currently? And so really being called to take back your power now. And really what that means is remembering that you're a powerful co-creator that can change anything in your life. And it's really going to have a lot to do with setting and keeping boundaries. So that's part of us taking our power back, is saying, no, that doesn't work for me, or no, I don't want that, but I do want this, right? So that's part of boundaries, is saying what we want, what we don't want, what we like, what we don't like, what's okay with us, what's not okay with us. And if it's not in alignment anymore, to walk away, right? To walk away. Attempt to set boundaries, but if someone or something's not honoring that, then it's time to walk away, so that you can really focus on now, what does your soul want you to do? What is your focus? What is your mission? So again, you might want to look at what house is Taurus in, what number house, and that's going to likely give you some clues as to the area of your life that's going to be impacted. Then on November 19th, so let me just back up a minute. Since October 11th, Pluto has been back in Capricorn. So if you remember, to the beginning of this year, Pluto was in Aquarius starting at the end of January. But then in October, it went back into Capricorn for the last time in a long time. So it's going to be moving into Aquarius on November 19th, and it's going to stay there for 20 years. So until November 19th, again, we've got big energy and really this theme of death and rebirth. So deeper completions, more truths revealed, old structures crumbling, closing up, and ending. So a lot of the masculine, I'm going to call it the shadow masculine or shadow patriarchal systems that we've been living under for almost 250 years are crumbling right now. Will continue to happen until the end of November. And then as Pluto moves into Aquarius, let me back up a minute. So again, Pluto in Capricorn until November 19th or November 18th. You might want to look at what house in your birth chart your Capricorn sign is in. Everybody has all 12 signs. Doesn't matter if it's your sun sign, your moon sign, we have all 12 signs. And look at that house. That's likely the number house your Capricorn sign is in will be where a structure is crumbling for you personally. But then we have this happening collectively as well. Then it moves into Aquarius on the 19th. And again, it will be there for the next 20 years. And Aquarius has a lot to do with being the humanitarian. Very much about connection, community. It is an air sign, so there's the communication, there's the connection. And it's really also it can be rebellious, a truthsayer, a revolutionary. So those are all Aquarius energies. So the card that I pulled from the Syrian Starseed Tarot, which was pulled at the beginning of the year, I pulled a card for each month. Those of you who have been with me since then know that every month I've been talking about this. So the card that was pulled for November is the transition card. And because I'm not on video, I'm going to actually take a picture of it, and I'm going to have it so that you can see that, in this video. So transition in a what's the word? A traditional tarot deck, it is the death card. So in the Syrian Starseed deck, it's the transition card, but in the traditional tarot, it's death. And, it can mean a physical death, but really what it means, and this goes so beautifully with all the other astrology things going on this month, is that it can be death of the collective unconscious belief systems that you've been holding, old, outdated belief systems and fears, which I touched on earlier, old, outdated ways of being in the world, of quote unquote surviving versus thriving. So, what we're doing here on a deeper level, and again, the new beginnings, right? Death of the old, so that you can have that rebirth. So, it says also that, and this is the image that we have on this card, it says, from her cold marble sarcophagus, a spirit moves through the tunnel, described by many who have reported near-death experiences and out-of-body visions. The light shines brightly, warm and inviting. It speaks of how death is not final, but rather a shift to a new experience. So many of us, as we are shedding these old belief systems and fears and patterns, we are, right, we're giving death to the old, but it's not an ending. It is actually a rising up, an upgrade into a new way of being and living, more from a place of thriving. Again, if we have been doing the work and continue to do the work. So it says this is the most liberating of all spiritual understandings, right? There really is no death. There's just this transmutation, transition. Even when we do physically die, we know that we go back to source, right? Our soul never dies. So, questions you might want to ask yourself: what is ending now, and how can I transform my grief around this ending into a higher understanding of my soul's journey process? What needs to change? What do you know is not working for you? And it might not have been working for some time now. And you are called, you're being pushed in a bigger way to make this change. What do I need to let go of in order to receive the new, in order to grow into my next version, right? My next soul level. What is it that I fear I'm going to lose? So again, we go back to those fears. Oftentimes we don't want to release something, even if it sucks, even if it doesn't feel good, is even causing illness, because we're afraid we're going to lose something. Oftentimes we're afraid of being alone, right? And that is still a deeper childhood wound and fear, because as adults, we know that ultimately we're never alone. We always can go out and connect with new souls, new people that we're in alignment with, deeper, greater alignment with. What am I learning about the meaning of death, of immortality? So those are some questions you might want to ponder this month. In the US, we know that we have the election coming up. And so again, old structures crumbling. It'll be really interesting to see what happens in this election. Very interesting. Yeah, so remember, again, I just want to remind everyone, even if you want to close your eyes right now, take a few breaths, placing your hands on your heart, and just breathing in the truth that regardless of what happens, it's all for our greater growth and evolution, even if it might look negative, right? It's still for our growth and evolution. We are here ultimately to co-create each and every single person's heaven on earth, right? And supporting each other into doing that. So some other things coming up this month, we have my annual gift to you, the holiday toolkit, and how to stay awake and thrive during the holidays and beyond. So you can join me live on November 4th. And if you can't be there live, if you sign up, you can receive the replay. So I'll put the link for that below this video. So would love for you to join me again or listen to the replay. Towards the end of the month, I also have another annual gift that I give you guys called Gifts of Gratitude. So you can look forward to that. That happens the week of Thanksgiving in the US for 5 days. And yeah, and for those of you that are in the Evolve Journey year-long program with me, this month we are focusing on your truth and boundaries. So, as we know, many of us weren't allowed to have boundaries growing up. We didn't learn boundaries. And so, this is a really big piece of our taking back our sovereignty, taking back our power, and remembering that we are a powerful soul right now as an adult. And so, that's going to be the focus in the Evolve Journey program. As always, sending you guys lots of love and lots of courage. And just so much gratitude that you are here doing this deeper work. Everybody listening to this, I know that you are doing deeper work right now. And you've probably been doing it from some time, like I have. I can't believe I've been doing this for 20 years. When I had that wake up call with the multiple sclerosis diagnosis. So yeah, that was 20 years ago in September. So wow. So just remembering you have a huge divine team, seen and unseen, that is here to support you with whatever challenge, whatever change you're being guided to make. We're not doing this alone. We're not meant to do this alone. It's actually impossible to do this alone. So if you want deeper support, again, you can go ahead and look below this video. And yeah, I am so curious to see what's going to unfold this month. All right, you guys, lots of love, lots of compassion for all of us, yourself and others. We're all doing this. You know, even if it looks like other people aren't, they're still on this path, their own path. And honoring that we're all doing the best we can every moment with the tools and the wisdom and the awareness that we have. All right. Love you guys. Hope to see you soon. Namaste.